Hello, it's June 12th, Thursday. And yeah, it's Thursday. We're gonna do some filming today because I watched a TikTok and the person was like, you're about to blink and open your eyes and then everything's gonna change. And it felt really right, so I'm going to do that. Let's start recording just for fun, because why not, right? What have I got to lose? And the thing is, it's like, if I don't record now and I don't get comfortable with recording, like even like using this microphone today, I'll never get comfortable with it. So where was this person? Talking about checkmate. See? What'd she say?
You're going to want to document at least the next 3 months.
At least the next 3 months. July? August. September. We're going to launch this program.
Not just TikTok videos.
Who's this?
Instagram
Alexis.
videos. No, document real life.
Real life.
Okay?
Thank you. You went to bed.
I don't know who's for you.
So we're going to do this. So what's happening? I posted an Instagram today that I've been working on for a while, and it's like out in the wild now. You want to see? Oh, here we go. Look at this. Look at that. Cringe. Let's go. Okay, so we're gonna do that. What's been going on? It's been a lot. We're almost done school, which is exciting. I'm gonna go and make a coffee. But yeah, almost done school. We got like, ooh, what's happening? Come back to me. Come back. Almost done school. Adrian's out in Hong Kong right now. Things are going fine. Surviving. Living the life. And just chilling. Chilling. Let's make some coffee. Where do you want to live? Is this cool? Let's do this. Reuse my cup. Morning routine. Make a coffee every morning. What else is going on? Haizhen is going to be launching soon. Going to launch it. It's June 12th. Plan is to put a launch party on July 31st. What does that mean? Nobody knows. Not even me. We're going to find out. Went to the store. All they had was heavy cream today, so that's what we're drinking. Yeah. So yeah, we're going to launch this thing. It's becoming real. It's like, what was Christian saying? Like, we were doing this for like 5 years. Finally, things are coming together. Only 5 years. It kind of matches with that Hypnosis 10-year plan back from 2019 in the Esdale state, the basement of trance. Esdale state had this experience in 2019, and in this deep trance, my partner was like, who was working with me at the time, was like, I can't even remember what she said, but basically the gist of it is like 10 years. This is a 10-year plan. And it's going to come together. Don't know what it is, And like since then, things have been coming together. Like, oh, the timelines of things that are happening. I can't even have to like really sit. 2019, hypnosis. Had that 10-year plan. That was 2019. So by 2029, we should be bumping. And hypnosis number 1, hypnosis number 2 at the end. So that was July and November 2019. And then the pandemic happened, which was wild. I was still working at the pharmacy at that time, still owning my own and operating that. That was a lot. It was good though, because the hypnosis community kept me going. Really kept me going. Because I did an induction online for the first time. I was like doing hypnosis and I was like, what do I do with this? Like, so I know, but this is not for my benefit. This is for anybody who might be watching. Is like, I am a pharmacist in Ontario, Canada. And I went to do this hypnosis training out of my personal interest. It's like, what's going on? I want to learn this thing. So I did, and it was funny. I remember, like, when I was there, when I was at the training the first day, they're like, "Why are you here?" And I said, "Oh, you know, I used to do a lot of sleight of hand magic, and then I was like, came across hypnosis, and I wanted to learn it, but I never got a chance to. So then I got this opportunity and signed up." Usually I start the story of like, I was at a corporate conference and I saw a hypnosis show and I was like, wow, this guy's great. I want to learn what he's doing. And I went up, and it was like really odd too, because I would never ever, well, I can't say never, but up until that point, you know, I would watch a show and I was like, do I want to talk to this person? I'd love to like know a little bit more. But scratch that. I think I started doing that actually when I was at earlier conferences. So it did start happening. So maybe all of that was practice. Practice for asking the question to the person that I needed to ask the question to, which is kind of cool how that comes together, right? So that was coming together. I asked and I got like sent over to the training with Mike Mandel. Never heard of him up until that point. And it was wild. Like what a shift. What a change. Like a whole different perspective, right? And the interesting thing was the perspective was really, it made a lot of sense. Things started clicking. And what I really liked about that is taking what was being taught and then like using it right away. I found that really, really engaging. Like if I'm thinking back, when I'm thinking back, I'm like, I remember going through and learning about hypnosis, and then it's like, oh my God, what is trance? All of this stuff. We're learning like these different language patterns and how to speak and how to like make endless sentences and things like that. And then like when I started to experience hypnosis and experience trance, it was like, oh, there's this whole like unconscious part that's like, I guess it's always been there, but I was never using it before. Or if I was, it wasn't intentional. So then like I started that week remembering like, you know, like what am I going to do? How am I going to like learn all of these things? Do I need to ask questions about like specific things and details and like really get into it? And then like maybe it was like day 2 or day 3, and the realization was like my unconscious is doing what it needs to. It's always listening. It's collecting all the information. So then I was like, hands off, take the wheel. Just let everything come in and then let it flow. And that was like really enlightening. I changed completely how I would have approached that in the past. I remember seeing people taking notes and like it works for people. Turns out, like, if I fast forward, like my human design, probably like taking notes helps to solidify things, but in that moment, and I would probably credit to how Mike and Chris teach, where it's like they create this environment that like just opens your filters to let in all the new material. So then I learned this thing called hypnosis, and like I said at the beginning, I was like, oh, I'm just here for like entertainment because I don't know what this is all about. And then I saw the potential of what this whole thing was, the potential of hypnosis and how it can work, how it can work for just like changing mindset. And I was really interested in that. I can't even remember the timeline clearly, but I remember it was 2016 or Christmas time. I believe December 26th, like Boxing Day. I was like, I'm going to make something. I'm going to do a blog. 2016. I guess I would have started writing for the Etobicoke Lakeshore Press with Roger. And I started to write. And I'm like, if I'm writing for someone else, why don't I just write for myself? And then like, I could be a blogger or something like that. At least like share some ideas out. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to create this thing. I remember making the Gmail account, curate and upgrade at gmail.com. And started to try to build that out over time. So I was like writing and like interested in personal development. I wonder if I go back, I can see like some of the early things I wrote. That might be really interesting because that would have been before hypnosis. So then I can't even remember what I actually did with it up until this point. But it was like working, there was a lot of things happening at the pharmacy. I think 2017 to 2018, we were relocating the pharmacy. Went from a smaller bridge store to a larger big box store. And, team expanded in all of this. And I guess all of that afforded me the opportunity to attend these conferences and to be in front of different performers and things like that. There were some really interesting talks, but the hypnosis one stuck out the most. So anyways, coming back to hypnosis training. In the training, I was like, wow, this is so powerful. And like by like the middle of the week, I completely forgot everything that had begun. And I realized this because at the end, the last day at the party, we're all there. We're all like, we're hypnotists. I'm a hypnotist. And like super exciting. And then doing like, what was it? People were coming up to me. I was like doing some magic tricks and things like that because like I guess I had shared that. So they showed me some tricks. And then people started coming up to me and were like, are you going to do a show? Are you going to do a show? And I was like, yeah, I guess so. But like, I really want to use this to help people change their lives and things. I was like, why? And it was only like after the fact that I clued in that, oh, I did say that. I haven't done a show. And I'm not really actually that into the traditional hypnosis show kind of thing. Like they're really fun to watch. It's not my personal vibe, but I would like to put on a show. I'm figuring out what that might be like because I think that'd be interesting. So I went and I took this training. I remember it was like we finished around July 1st weekend, Canada Day. And right after we went to a cottage. And at the cottage, I was like using the kinetic shift by Carl Smith, changing like feelings into colors and then changing the colors and getting rid of them, especially for the kids that fall down and get hurt. And I was like, oh, like your knee hurts. What color is that? Like red or something. And I take it. What color you want it to be? White. Let's get rid of it, or whatever the protocol was. Butchering it, but just like started using these things. I was like, and at that time it was like I want to do hypnosis more, practice, learn this thing. Because like right after, I felt great. I was like, I know, I'm the hypnotist. I know what I'm doing. And then it's like as time passes and that like confidence wanes, the more that you like step away from it and then you're not doing it, then it was a bit of like, okay, like how do I use this? I did have I did end up going back into the store. I think I was off the week after, and I saw one of my pharmacists there, and she had this like pain in her arm. It looked like a nerve pain. She could barely move it, and I was like, what's going on with your arm? Nerve pain? Do you want to explore it? Like, let's sit down. I just became a hypnotist. So then she's like, okay, and we did this thing, and then I like finished up whatever I was going to do. She went back outside, and like I remember vividly because like when I first got there, one of her arms like could barely move. Like one was moving fine, and the other was like just moving very gingerly. And then like afterwards they were both moving again. I was like, what just happened? And then I would check in with her from time to time, and it was like it cleared up, and I was like, whoa, this is so cool. Like, what just happened? Like, I don't even know what I did. I remember using control room, and we didn't like formally learn control room, but I came across it somewhere. Probably started consuming like the online lessons and things like that. I'm like, okay, like let's do this thing. Let's use our imaginations, right? And it changed. So then I was stuck in this place of like, I've just learned this thing that will like really help people. But then I'm also in a profession that helps people as a pharmacist, as a healthcare provider. But then like the context of that helping is like very defined, right? Like there's set kind of like ways that pharmacists practice and things like that. And then at the same time, it's like the stuff that I learned is not like outside the realm. It's basically like talking to people and then having them fundamentally change in some way, which is like really, really interesting because I'm like, what's happening? So then how do I bring these two worlds together? I see like people that I talk to, and the more that I continue to like study and consume like hypnosis content for like 3 years after that. And it's just like the question in my mind was kind of like, how do I make this more into my everyday life? I would have like, I spent a lot of time online in the Facebook group, connecting with people, working with people on various things. I made a lot of friends that way, which was super cool. People all around the world. Somebody in the like UAE or like the Kuwait, I think. And then like people in the States, people in, is it Finland? The first person that I worked with was definitely somewhere in Europe. Um, and that was really fun as well. It's like, let's act as if. And I was like, I have no idea if this is going to work. And then it did. And I'm like, there's something here. This is going to be a lot of fun. So then, like, spending that time of like trying to integrate like all of these things together was like such an interesting journey because like understanding context and looking at how people like walk around the world, I started to really like observe more. So like some of the big lessons that I took away, one was like intentionality, like what the heck are you doing? And then another thing was like congruence and calibration, like looking at people and all of these things. I can't go into all of that right now, but like taking all of these things and like melding it together. And eventually I came to this place where I was like, I'm communicating all the time. People are always talking. And then sometimes like they talk in funny ways that like keep in their way. So like I ended up finding a way of talking to people and like in just regular conversation, quickly identifying different things and like being able to get into it, I guess. But I wasn't like fully there. It was like it still felt like something was missing. Um, I could like hear the patterns in the language, hear the limiting beliefs that people would like just present just on a regular basis. Like I'm no good at this. I could never do that. Like that type of thing. And then And then it was 2021, and I was like searching for things. So I think at the end of 20, was it 2021? Sure, let's say that. So at the end of like 2020, there was this thing called Clubhouse, this new social media network. And it was like, oh, you get on a room and you talk, and like, oh, it's like Hypnotist, like kind of like really got all over this because they were like, oh, I can like talk to people and then like do random sessions. So I remember like one of the rooms that I was in, it was like a whole bunch of hypnotists that I knew that I had met through the Mike Mandel Hypnosis Academy. And we were all just like talking to this one person and just like taking turns of like, oh, you have this problem here, like think about this, and doing like all these different hypnotic interventions. And this person was just like receiving it all as like, oh my god, this is so amazing. The reason for mentioning Clubhouse is that on Clubhouse I ran into my first human design reader. And at that time I was like, oh, human design, really interesting. Let's look this up, let's explore this. And then I pulled out my chart and I saw this chart. And if you've never seen a human design chart before, like I have, but you might not have, look like this. And I was like, what is that? What is that? Like, I had no idea. So I like kind of like filed it away. It's like, somebody take this away from me. And parked it for a bit and then continued on my hypnosis journey and all of this. But then eventually there was a point where, like I said, like I'm like, I don't really know what's going on, or like there's something missing. I need something more. So I revisited human design. I probably looked at like MBTI and then the Enneagram. All of those things were really interesting. Like I have a bunch of Enneagram books as well. I did enjoy that for a while. Where's my Enneagram book? I did enjoy that for a while. I'm a Enneagram 9 with an 8 wing, and like learning about that, learning about how like the integrations. Oh, it's all the way up there. Integrations and like disintegrations within in the Enneagrams. It was really a great way of doing a lot of like self-reflection. Actually, this book was really cool. Enneagram Transformations, because like it has like releases and affirmations for healing your personality type. So like some of these things, it was like, okay, like you find your type, and I'd give this book to people and they'd read it, and sometimes they're like, this is too deep. I can't. Let's take a quick look here. Like releases. So like for each personality type, there's a release. I now release ignoring problems until they become overwhelming. That one kind of hit at some point. Yeah, I used to do that a lot. I probably still do that at some level, but for sure, like not as much. And there's a lot more like, I'm gonna like get ahead of this. I'm not gonna like let this. I'm not gonna let this fester. So like I was going through all these systems and like clearly looking for something like, okay, like there's all this reflection. I can sit there and I can think about it. I can use my unconscious. I can do all of these things. Um, Even with all of these different um, like personality tests and things like that, it was kind of like a stab in the dark almost, because I'd have to read something and then like figure it out. So then I was like, I went through Enneagram. I did a lot of reading. I went through like MBTI. It was like, it was great, but also like a little bit confusing. I'm like, I have to learn like this whole new system, like what's going on. And then on a day to day, I'm like, what do I do? So then I came across this. I went back to human design and I pulled up my chart again. And then I started reading. I think I bought like a reader's report. I found out I'm a projector. And then I'm like, what's a projector? I got no idea. I was like, maybe reading, trying to read about it. I bought a little report about what a projector is. I'm like, wait for the invitation? What does that mean? And then, like, slowly, the more that I thought about that and tried to implement that. So then the great thing about human design is it has all these things. It talks about like what a projector is and all of that, but I really didn't understand that. The thing that resonated was the strategy and authority. It was basically like wait for the invitation and then use your splenic authority, which is like an intuitive hit. So then I started practicing that. I started using that, like just rather than in a group setting trying to get in and like, hey, like I got something to say. Let me say my piece. Hello, look at me. Look at me. Let me say my piece. It was just to like hang back and listen and know that the way that I received it was like when the time comes, then I'll get invited into the conversation. So I started doing that. And of course, people eventually would just invite you, whether they're like out of kindness, out of like, oh, hey, like, what do you think? Type of thing. And I was like, oh, you've asked me. I've been invited. I'm going to talk to you now. And that was really nice. That, for whatever reason, not for whatever reason, like that clearly changed the nature of my interactions because it changed the nature of my interactions. The energetics were different. I was no longer trying to like go out there and be seen. I was waiting confidently, knowing that I would be seen when the time was right for me. So then I went further deeper into human design. That's where I found Crystal Alfarero, my human design teacher and mentor and business mentor. I went and ordered a business reading because like I was working on this curate and upgrade thing, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna build this up, and this is what I want to build. At that time, I was like all over the place. I still am a little bit all over the place, but at that time, like even more. I was like, I want to do a hypnosis coaching business. I didn't know how to like market it. I didn't know really what to do outside of like watching things online, talking on YouTube or whatever. And oh, it was a lot. So then I had a reading, and the business reading was great. It was like a lot of like good tips. It was honestly too early at the time. What I don't want to say I should have done, because what I did led me to here. So I'm going to scratch that and just say what I did was I got a business reading. And then what I found like the most impactful actually was the report afterwards, because the report afterwards went through like my whole chart. It was like a human design report, and it was talking about um, my design type and strategy and authority. And I had read a whole bunch on that. I watched a bunch of videos, so I had some familiarity with it. But then I got to channels, and I remember it was the channel of struggle that that got me. The 2838. Am I butchering that? Butcher. Yeah, 3828. And I was reading this description, and I was like, I feel this. Like I feel this so deeply. And I'm like, okay, I got to go further into this. And I started reading more, consuming as much human design content as I could, and finally made the decision to undergo a reader certification with Crystal at the Human Design Academy. Um, and that was so eye-opening, like learning about all of the different like pieces of this chart, learning about how it all fits together. And then I started to see this picture come together of like, this is really that map. It gives you strategy and authority. It's like instantly like you can embody your design. You can start to live and feel what alignment feels like, all the while exploring all the crap that you've taken on, which is to say, when you look at your chart, you understand like what's you and what's not you. So then like learning the themes of the energy centers. Oh man, like there's 9 energy centers, and I remember being so overwhelmed. I was like making tables and charts and trying to like learn and understand and remember these things. It was a lot. I'm so much better now. But it was a lot. And then it started to coalesce with like hypnosis, and it's like in human design we talk about conditioning, where we take on like the energies of outside things that are not ours and learn to act from it, sometimes inappropriately. So as it's coming together, it continued to come together. So like 2021 to 2024 or so, I was like just continuing to think about how to put this together. And I tried with fits and starts of like what to do with it. I did human design readings, I did hypnosis sessions, and all of those things were great. But it was like it just didn't feel like the thing. So then I continued to like kind of like mash things together. That's, if I were to say from a human design standpoint, it'd be my 40. Jeez, it's like having brain farts this morning. My 4323. Oh, should have trusted my instincts. I was right. 4323. That channel of structuring, putting all of these things together, seeing the big picture, and like starting to put it together. And that's where things like really started to click. And that's how I got here now. Like this project that I'm about to launch, this business I'm about to launch, the rebrand. So like Curate and Upgrade, I officially like ended that. Maybe I can't even remember when I made that decision. A couple months ago. Yeah. Not even that long ago. Maybe 1 month ago. It's June now, so was it May? It's probably somewhere. Um, Ended that, and then switched over to leaned into Haizhen. Haizhen is the this new brand that I'm working on, that I'm building up. The one where you enter your core frequency and shake the world. So Haizhen is, and this is like record yourself, record how much you're struggling, talking about this thing that you've created. Um, it's like the amalgamation of hypnosis, human design, and all of the other things. Like I haven't even touched on like the whole like metaphysical, spiritual kind of journey and exploration, going through hermetics, going through the raw materials, the law of one, touching on the Tao, going into the Tao. One of my favorite books. Where is it? Where is my book? It's right here. Oh, some of my favorite books. So going into this one first, the Kybalion. And then I got the audiobook for this and listened to it maybe like a million times. And then getting into the Tao, touching in on those like Asian Chinese roots. Oh, and like the whole trip to Japan this year was, and like Asia this year is a whole other story. It'll be like a 6-hour video by the time I finish this. But touching into all of this and like linking it all together, and this is like what I've come together with, which is Haizhen today, for the people that hold up their worlds and forget to hold themselves, the bedrock leaders that are the foundations that are carrying the weight of their world and leaving themselves out of it, when really they are the most important piece. So just like continuing to refine that message. So hopefully by the time I reflect back on this, I'll be at a point where it's like, this is Haizhen, and I can talk about all this stuff. And it just keeps coming. So that's where I'm at now. Building out this thing that's really coming together. Hired Crystal as my business coach and mentor, joined Aligned and Flow, got back into Picthos Mastermind to build up the technology side of the business. And it's June 12th. I've been working on it's like bringing like 30-minute detour to like a first day, 1 day update. First one off the bat. So let's make it a good one. I've been working on the launch calendar, putting some dates into the calendar, getting into like so many things, touching on astrology, touching on most recently, like as recent as yesterday, looking into like Chinese astrology and the lunar calendar, and like looking to understand the like natural rhythms of the world, and looking at how to put all of this together, because like ultimately we're not separate from the world, right? So then I have this launch calendar. So it's June 12th today. The plan is to launch on June 31st. So between now and then, putting together like all of the like foundational work, putting together all the emails, putting together the course itself, creating social media. Like I showed you my post earlier, and it was like one of those things that a year ago I would have never shared. I'd be like, look at this guy. Look at this guy. Oh my God. I gotta show you some unhinged stuff. Because, like, why not? Right? Like, what is this? Let's flip this around. Like, what is this? What is this? So like, yeah, did some like photography for myself, and putting it all together. So it's like right now in the middle of like getting ready to launch this thing. It's coming together. I'm super excited about it. And that's it. So